Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is about a summer dress for a little girl about 9 to 10 years old, and I thought I'll show you how to make a basic bodice pattern. So first we have to square off the paper, and then take the shoulder measurements, which is 6 inches, the armhole is 6 inches, and the waistline is 11.5 inches, and the neck width I've taken here is 3 inches. Then we square off all the measurements and then mark the armhole depth. Then mark the neckline depth. Here I'm taking 4 inches for back and at the front. Then the shoulder drop, which is half an inch. Next is chest measurement, which is 8 inches and 1.5 inches for the seam allowance. For the waist, it is 7.5 inches and 1.5 inches for the seam allowance as well. Then square off the neckline, join the shoulder depth point, then join the waist and the chest lines. Here I'm giving 1 inch of seam allowance at the bottom and connect them. Then I'm making a slight curve so that it fits well on the body, and drawing the back armhole here with a French curve. For the front armhole, I'm taking half an inch inside, join it with the shoulder slope, then draw the curve with the French curve. Then I'm drawing a simple U-neck for this, for the front and the back, and then I'm going to cut it off. Well, now I'm cutting only the back measurements. After we draft it on the fabric, we can cut for the front armhole and then use it on the fabric. Leave half an inch above for the shoulder seam. With this, our basic pattern for the bodice is ready. Now we'll see how to put it on the fabric. Here I've taken 2 pieces of fabric, one for the front, one for the back. First we'll do the back. Just place the pattern on the fabric. Take a little bit extra than the pattern is required. Here the fabric is on the fold, so place your pattern on the folded side and cut around it. And you can make a notch at the seam allowance, which makes it easier for when we get to sew the fabric. Now for the front, I have trimmed the front armhole curve here. Then on the fabric, I marked 1.5 inches from the folded side for the button placket, and I drew a line throughout the entire length of the fabric. Then place the pattern on that line and cut the fabric all around. And when you cut the neckline, just leave half an inch of the placket above the neckline, so it is easy for the folding when we do the button placket, and then cut the neckline. Separate the pieces and cut off the shoulder seam. And now the bodice pattern is ready. For the skirt part, I've taken the remaining fabric, and I've taken the width as my length and my length of the fabric as my width of the fabric. So I took the entire remaining fabric which was there. So here it is about 53 inches and 22 inches in length. And for the neckline, I'm using a canvas here. So this is a medium length canvas, sorry, medium weight canvas. And I took the fabric cut out for the neckline, which will be easy to mark the neckline on the canvas. Then take about an inch around it. You can either do the shape of the neckline, or you can just draw a square line around it, which is easy for the finishing of the neckline. And I've taken this on fold, so there are 4 layers. So one is for the front, one is for the back, and I separated the front neck into 2 pieces and ironed it on of the fabric, and I finished the raw edges with overlocking, and I'll fold it and stitch it when I'm done with this neckline. And I'm here marking 1/2 inch outside the interfacing and cut it out. This will be the seam allowance which I'll be using for the entire project, and I'm repeating it on the other side. And I will do the same for the back neckline as well. And here I'm starting with the shoulder seams. Attach the front and the back bodices together and finish the raw edges. Once I'm done with that, I'm finishing the armholes with the bias tape. And I have a video on how to finish neckline with bias tape, and also I have explained this in my previous videos, which I'll link in the description below. Now I have finished the armholes on both the sides, and now we will attach the side seam of the bodice. And finish the raw edges as well. Now let's start with the skirt piece. First, attach the 2 pieces together towards the length and finish the raw edges. And that as a center, mark it up, match it up with the open edge and make a notch at the center. Repeat the same with the bodice as well. Then match up the notches. And now once you're done matching up the notches and the open edges, then start to make pleats like this. And you can adjust the size of your pleats according to your wish. I like to make it really small so that it appears nicer, because it's a kid's dress. It'll be nicer if it has a smaller pleats. And you can, instead of doing the notches and matching it up, you can just gather the whole length of the skirt part with 2 rows of basting stitches, and then gather it according to the size of the bodice, then attach them together. That's another option as well. Here I am making small pleats. In this way it will be uniformly distributed as we made notches and matched them together. And this is all matched up with right sides of the fabric together, right side of the bodice with the right side of the skirt. And here is a better view of how I make the pleats. And you can also make the pleats beforehand, pin it up, and then come under the sewing machine and finish it up. I just tend to make it as I'm sewing. And before you start to gather or pleat, just leave 1.5 inches for the placket in the skirt as well as we left for the bodice, both at the start as well as at the end of the fabric. Here, as you can see, I've left those 1.5 inches. Now it is neatly attached, as you can see. Then finish the raw edges of the skirt. I've just overlocked it. Now move the seam allowance towards the bodice and make a top stitch, and this will help to lay the fabric flatter and nicer when it is being worn. It's all done. Then we are moving to make the plackets, and for this I've attached a piece of lightweight interfacing so that it gives a little bit of stability when we sew the placket on. Just fold the allowance 1/4 inch and then fold it over 1 inch above it and sew the placket. Here I'm sewing the inner side of the placket, and it is on the wrong side of the fabric, so you have to fold it on the wrong side and then make a stitch. Just repeat it towards the end of the dress. And repeat the same on the other side of the placket as well. And I made a stitch on the other side of the placket, the outer edge of the placket as well, so that it lays neat and flat. Then trim off the excess neckline which we left at the beginning. Here I'm joining the neck pieces with the interface on, just like you would sew the bodice pieces together. Then match it up with the bodice piece, the front and the back necklines together, the shoulder seams on the shoulder seams, pin it up, and then make a stitch around it with 1/2 inch or about a centimeter of seam allowance. In this way it is very easy and it is very neat looking when we are done with the neck. Now stitch it around. Make sure to take the pins away as you're going. Now notch up the neckline and make sure not to rip the seam. Now turn the neckline piece towards the right and make an understitching. This will help to turn the neckline pieces easier and it will lay down nicer. Now turn it back and make a top stitch. And our neckline is ready. It is nice and neat. Cut off the extra threads. Now for the bottom hem, I've left 1 inch when I took the length. So fold the fabric 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch over it and make a straight line. It's fair and simple. Just fold it and run a straight stitch, and we are almost done. So the placket and everything is ready and looking very neat. Now I'm leaving about 7 inches at the bottom for movement and ease when it is being on. Now we have to attach the buttons on one side of the placket. Here I used about 7 buttons for the whole length of the dress with a gap of 1.5 inches, and you have to do the buttonholes on the other side of the placket of the dress, and once you're done with it, your dress is done. So the beautiful summer open placket dress is all ready for your little one to be on and play outside in this summer. Hope you all liked my project. Please like, share and comment and subscribe if you like it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.